you're a master tech at Jaguar. Mm-hmm. And then what is the next step in Tom Lenthall's life?
He's got 2 kids, a missus that has decided that she wants to be a stay-at-home mum, and in a financial situation where every month when he gets his wages, he's about 500 or 600 quid a month behind.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Auto Addicts podcast, and welcome to Series 2, episode number 2. Now, before we get on with the podcast, a massive thank you to everyone who emailed and messaged. Overwhelming response. Everyone is over the moon that we're back. And you know what? After a 2-month break, so are we. How's it feel, Rory? Back in the hot seat?
Yeah, it's very weird, isn't it? It's been 2 months, haven't had to do this.
Yeah.
And now I'm looking at someone who doesn't look very much like Taylor at the moment.
No. It's Mr. Tom Lenthall. He's our special guest.
I thought we could try and make him laugh and then people could guess.
Oh, what?
Right. Oh, shit.
I
Okay.
think, it's obviously Tom.
How you doing, Tom?
Yeah. I'm also very glad that you lot are working again, because you've been really, really bothering me a lot the last couple of months. It's like you've had nothing to do, sweeping the floor, anything to earn a couple of quid.
Absolutely right. Now, for people who don't know you, Tom, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
My name's Tom Lenthall, and I am a mechanic who runs a Jaguar Land Rover repair business.
Do you want to correct that?
Yeah, that's not correct anymore, Tom, is it?
What do
really?
you mean?
You said I'm a mechanic and I run.
Well, I started out as a mechanic.
Okay.
And also, he's not even that anymore. Let's face it, Tom's practically a YouTuber these days. He's put his hat up and he's now just, I'm an influencer.
I think if you look on his CV, it'll probably say YouTuber/entrepreneur.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've never quite felt an entrepreneur. I've always felt like a chap that's ended up, been good at fixing cars and ended up running a business by default.
Yeah.
That's the way.
But not anymore, Tom. When's the last time you had a bit of oil underneath your fingernails? As I look at your fingernails, and they're actually quite dirty. So fair play. Fair play, Tom.
I do still like to get my hands dirty.
You do indeed.
As I say,
indeed.
So does Meg, obviously.
Yeah.
She wouldn't like it if my
She
hands
does.
were too
She does the heavy lifting in the relationship, doesn't she?
Without a doubt, yeah.
Meg is Tom's wife, if you haven't guessed that.
Yes. Right, before we get into the podcast, we've got a lot to get through, actually. Very exciting one. What have we all been up to? Rory, let's get started with you. How's your week been?
Yeah, it's been all right. We've filmed pretty much all of the content that we had planned for the 2-month gap.
Yeah.
So we've got that all filmed now. So yeah, you guys have obviously seen the Yeti. And then the Alpha episode is coming out tomorrow, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah.
We went over to the Isle of Wight for that, and there was a little bit of noise coming from Alex's
A
Alpha.
little bit?
Yeah.
I'm surprised I didn't get thrown off the country.
Yeah, it was very loud. But yeah, I remember I was standing there just trying to do these flybys, and I was just getting deafened by you just going past, just going, oh my God, that's so loud.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, very excited for you guys to see that. Anything else, Rory?
Mower update.
Oh, yeah. For
So,
people who don't know about the mower.
So the mower went away for hibernation.
Yeah.
It's my robot.
Bit like us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my robot lawnmower. And it's all autonomous. It's GPS controlled.
Yeah.
So I don't even need to do boundaries. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Anyway, it's now gone out, and it had to go away for winter, and it's come back out, and it's just cutting the lawns again. Everywhere just looks fresh. Goes out 3 times a week. It's brilliant.
Nice.
Isn't it a bit early, Rory?
No, Tom. It's never too early to cut your
It's
lawn.
never too early to have your lawn cut.
Yes.
That's what I mean.
And robot vacuums and lawnmowers are great, aren't they, Alex?
Have you got a robot vacuum cleaner?
I don't.
So, all right. I didn't want to touch on this topic, all right, but yesterday I came home, right, to my wife and my child. I open up my front door and I look on the floor and everything is clean. And then I go in the living room and all of the tables and all of the shit that is usually on the floor is on the sofa. And I'm like, why is everything floating? And then I hear this little... And I'm like, I know exactly what's happened here. I've been done over by my wife.
Yeah.
And I look behind me in the dining room and there's this little oofy thing that's taken itself back to its little hiding hole and it says, now emptying the dirty water. And you know what? I've given it a name, Tom.
Go on then, what you called it?
I've called it Rory.
Oh.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because it's annoying, but actually quite useful to have around. Hey. So yeah, I'm actually quite loving my little oofy.
So what about the stairs?
So no,
I haven't thrown it down the stairs yet, Tom. I'll give that a go tonight.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just, I'm intrigued because obviously you've got to. Is it one of those ones that goes around if it bumps into things?
Yes.
It'll turn
Yeah,
forward, or is
yeah.
it one that's actually mapped your house?
No,
and
it maps the house.
It maps.
He's got the nice one. It does map the
Yeah.
house.
So
Yeah.
will it then map upstairs?
No, how is it meant to get upstairs, Tom?
Well, no, you carry it up there. Well, clearly, don't you, Rory?
What, you're not. No one does that.
What
So
you do is
so
you
what
get
Alex
your
doesn't
drone
know.
and you
The drone lifts
your fly
it. Yeah.
thing.
Oh,
as he
your
says.
fly thing. Oh my God, for
No,
crying out
so what
loud.
Alex doesn't know is
Yeah.
Rianne's actually already ordered another one.
Right,
that one's
sure.
going upstairs.
Yeah. And for every 14 stairs, there's another roofie. is
There is. There's
a
a mini
baby
one-
roofie.
there's a mini one that sits on each step, yeah.
They are literally going to take over the house, aren't they?
Yeah.
But yeah, it sweeps, right? And it also does the wet vacuum,
Mopping.
Yeah. It's got these little arms that come out and just flap about. It's actually quite cute. And it went underneath my sofa and I was like, oh, I've not seen under there for a while. And I was like on my hands and knees, just following it around. I was like, you go, girl. Or you go, Rory.
I was getting pictures from Rianne. That was just pictures of Alex just watching his new robot vacuum going
Yeah.
around.
Is it actually? Does it do a good job?
It actually does quite a good job. Yeah.
Okay.
Genuinely.
All right.
Unless you like vomit all over the floor or shit.
The thing you got to remember, because they go out regularly, unlike when you usually do your vacuuming maybe like once every 2 weeks.
This is such a
or
middle-aged
something.
podcast.
It is.
Isn't it?
We'll talk about maths next.
Oh!
But these go out a lot more regularly. So then they're only picking up like a minute amount each time. They're
Yeah,
not-
because they're doing it consistently. Yeah.
it's like the robot lawnmower. It goes out 3 times, so it doesn't actually need to collect anything.
Yeah.
It's great.
I'm one of those families now.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like it or not.
No, you like it.
Okay, right. Oh, you like
the
it.
longest
You love
period I ever managed was about 9 or 10 months in between hoovering.
Really?
Yeah, it was when I was living with some friends, and
Oh, okay.
Meg wasn't my wife at the time; she was my girlfriend. And,
Oh, okay.
and her intolerance of dirt got the better of her, so she brought a Hoover around and hoovered our house.
Oh,
for
God,
us.
poor Meg.
What did
Your
the floor look
long-suffering
like
wife.
after 9 months?
Well, it was quite. What actually happened was the dust and the mess in the hallway was
Yeah.
so deep
Yeah.
that we wore a path in the dirt.
Oh,
Tom.
the sides of the hallway carpet
Yeah.
were sort of like really infested, but then actually up the middle of it where you walk wasn't too bad because we obviously we were walking there, so we cleared it.
Lovely. Yeah.
So we
Your carpet was alive, was it?
it was alive, yeah, and
Had its own ozone layer and
and
everything.
Meg couldn't stand it anymore. So
Fair play.
Did
Fair
she have
play.
to do like one room, then empty the vacuum, one room, then empty?
yeah, it was a while ago. It was-
Apart from coming home and being confronted by Rory, which
Yeah.
was very upsetting, this week's been very good.
Okay.
Obviously drove the Yeti round, that everyone saw last week. And Tom, I wanted to talk about, you handing me the keys to your race car,
oh right,
which was a real privilege. So I just wanted to thank you for that. I had a really, really good time.
So I nearly forgot, didn't I? Because we did speak about.
Yeah.
I think Rory was baiting me, wasn't he? Let's face it, that's what he was doing.
I thought you intentionally forgot, and I didn't want to ask you if I could drive.
Yeah. And then I just pulled up by the trailer, and then Rory said, "Oh, you haven't got the guts to let Alex drive your
He
car."
didn't
And I
say
thought,
guts, did he? He said balls.
Did he say balls?
I think he
can't
screamed at you as well.
Yeah.
You were like, oh, I'll show him.
remember. So, but I did want you to have a drive in the car anyway.
Yeah.
So you did jump in the
I
driver's
did,
seat.
yeah. And it was really good.
And I had to sit in the passenger seat.
Well, you didn't have to, but you chose to.
Well, and I wanted to make sure, I need to protect my investment. I've invested heavily in that car.
Oh, I thought you meant me being the investor.
No, not at all.
Tom, how are you as a passenger in a car?
I'm generally not good. I don't. And it's not so bad when you're at little circuits or where I know where I'm going. But like as an example, when Taylor took me around the Nürburgring, I had no idea where I was going.
No.
And you're going over fast crest, you don't know what's coming, and it was that freaked me out. Yeah, so Alex did freak me out a couple of times.
What? But it's
You
a
know.
little circuit. You knew where you were going.
It wasn't so much about it was more about the application of your driving talents that worried me. And I thought,
Worried is a very strong word here, Tom.
overconfident, I would call it. The whole front end of the car
Yeah.
started moving and undulating. And you were like a split second away from the thing flipping round on you. No. It would, and I promise you, because I've done it.
Well, you did it on track. We've actually got,
we do have video of that. Yeah.
But that's coming out of a corner. That's different. That's the rear end. When you lose the front end on that due to braking, the whole car will just, if you load up the front too much and the rear end breaks away,
Yeah.
you were really close to the rear end losing traction. You did make me flinch.
Really?
Yeah.
In a good way?
Yeah, I clenched.
But were you a little bit impressed, or were you like, oh, I'm
Oh,
getting
no.
out?
I've got to give you credit where credit's due. I know you've been driving the Yeti around there.
Yeah.
You know, considering you've never driven the car before and all the rest of it, you know, you're one of those drivers that I would describe as overconfident. Yeah, and you're going to crash, right?
Like,
you know, but
Well, I've taken a leaf out of your book, Tom.
No,
You're
no.
saying is, if I'm not winning, I'm crashing trying to win.
yeah. But I know that car inside out, so I'm pushing and pushing and pushing. Little bit. So I'm one of those drivers that will take their time. You know, just a few laps. Let's get faster and faster and faster and faster and
I
find the
did.
limit.
That was like lap 3 that I
You
did
only
that on.
did 3 laps. You're like, and you're braking later than I was, and I'm like, what's he doing?
Are we going to talk about Alex's seating position in the car as well?
Oh yeah, he did need a little bit of padding as well.
That's
didn't he?
why, because my seating position was all wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had
So
2 cushions behind me.
You had 2 cushions
Yeah.
and a coat behind
And a
him.
coat, big coat
Yeah,
behind me.
so
Just
you
to get
could
me
reach the
close.
pedals.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. But yeah, Tom, I wanted to thank you for letting me drive your XJS. Honestly,
all right, no
it was
worries.
a real pleasure and a real privilege. Genuinely.
Yeah,
Fantastic
good.
car. Probably one of the most fun I've had in a car on a race circuit.
Did you see? You initially turned around to me and said, "Oh well, I always say that when someone lets me drive their car, that it's amazing and all the rest of it." But then you turned around to me in a rather sarcastic manner and said, "Actually, Tom, your car was rather good." And I was like,
Do I trust him?
Is this?
Yeah.
No,
But I think it's the 3rd time I'm saying it now, so I think you can trust me that I really did enjoy it.
Good.
And
I'm glad,
the
actually.
noise is very, very good.
Oh, I just I do genuinely have a very, very strong bond with that car.
yeah.
I do love that.
And if
I
you
do
don't know
love
the car we're talking about, if you have a look at last week's Yeti episode, at the end of that episode, Tom brings out his XJS race car and does a few laps.
Yeah, it's a good car, that.
It is a good car, the car.
Yeah.
If you ever need a +1,
Yeah. I got James Wall.
I haven't finished my sentence. You've got James Wall.
So,
I was hoping he'd say, yeah, why not? Yeah, but it
Okay.
didn't happen. Tom,
you haven't got a race license, have you?
don't need one. You've seen me on track. I used to. I could come out of retirement, Tom.
You could come out of retirement.
Also,
Yeah.
There you go.
this
look.
Yeti series in general just wouldn't have been possible without Tom, because you're forgetting about the whole Project 8 as well that he lent us.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
You're really digging into my garage at the moment.
Tom, have you got anything that's really far?
yeah. Nah, not really. No.
No, but yeah, Project 8, fantastic.
So
as
look, there
well.
you go. Then here you go. What
Yeah.
you need, you go and take your ARDS test.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Are we going to shake? Are we about to shake on
Yeah, yeah.
something?
If you take your ARDS test,
Yeah.
yeah, and pass,
Yeah.
I will do a 2-driver race with you.
Really?
In the modern classics at the CSCC.
I want to do Spa 24 hours or nothing.
Well, actually, no, we go to Spa.
Okay. I don't want to do 24 hours at Spa.
You don't
I'll
want to
die.
No.
Yeah.
All
So-
right, let's shake on it.
Yeah. So I'll probably, you take your ARDS test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is
And
the ARDS test for people who don't know?
An ARDS test is a driving license for race.
Because when you get it, you're well hard. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
We'll get you past. I know a man, don't worry.
Yeah, basically, if you want to do any competitive track driving, you have to do your ARDS test,
Yeah.
which is a written exam,
Yeah.
a very basic written exam. Basically, the examiner goes round the room and says, are you sure that's the correct flag? And you're like, no, I'm not. He's like, okay, maybe have another look at that.
Have a little think.
Yeah. You can't fail it, but what you can fail is just driving around track. If you're completely incompetent,
Yeah,
they won't let you have a
You
have
won't
a
fail the
license.
track bit.
No.
You'll be all right.
I've done it
with that.
before. Yeah, I've done it before.
Yeah, unless you get overconfident and crash, obviously.
So he could fail the track bit then.
He could, yeah. Because
No,
because
so
he's,
genuine-
I know what I'm doing.
The best thing to do when you're doing your ARS test, and I learned this, not the hard way, but I learned this, is when you're doing the track driving stuff, there is no minimum speed limit.
No.
So you can pootle around at 30 miles an hour, just don't crash into anything, take the racing line, but you can do it at like 50% speed that you would, and you're guaranteed to pass.
Yeah.
Just don't get cocky.
I don't know anyone that's failed it, to be perfectly honest.
Challenge accepted.
I think I could fail it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we should both do our ARDS.
But me and my Jaguar XJ.
Yeah. Oh, God, that was funny. That was a good tracking car. Anyway, Tom, what have you been up to?
Just life in general, really. Isn't
Yeah.
it? I mean, I haven't sat down and done a podcasty thing for you for a long time. So,
No.
yeah, but in more recent times, we just work's very, very busy, and I've been spending most of my time building my my latest car, which is my E-Type,
Yeah.
which I've owned for about 5 or 6 years, and I'm just yeah, it's in my garage at home, and I've been spending a lot of evenings and weekends getting that ready because me and Megs are taking that to Switzerland in end of June, beginning of July. So we're on a road trip.
Isn't there something before then that you're building a car for?
Oh yeah, we're going to take it to we're definitely going to take it to Shedfest.
Well, hey,
Yeah,
nice.
so,
Shedfest 25th of May. Get your tickets now.
Yep, and we're going to bring down hopefully some very interesting cars. I've definitely had a couple of things confirmed.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
Should we
yeah.
reveal? Tom,
Yeah.
do you
Do you
want
want
to
to
reveal?
talk about that now?
Yeah.
So Tom is in charge at Shedfest of the Goodwood Legends section, where you've
Yeah.
got like 15, 20 cars. That is Tom Lenthall's section of nice shit.
Yeah,
And
so-
you've got some real nice shit confirmed, haven't you?
Yeah. So I just thought I'd ring around some of my mates and bring some really just some interesting cars down there. What I consider interesting, and we called it the Legends of Goodwood.
Yep.
This is between me and my mate James have come up with this idea, and we've approached some people. So I've definitely had confirmation from my good mate Grant Williams,
Yeah.
who's got probably the most famous racing Jaguar saloon ever, which is Buy One, which is the one you always see at Goodwood Festival of Speed. and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
if you ever see a Jaguar going sideways at Goodwood, it's
Yeah,
that man
it's normally
driving.
Grant.
it.
It's normally my mate Grant. Yeah. So Grant's going to bring Buy One down, and we've had a very good chat with the Jaguar Daimler Heritage Trust, who have got some amazing cars.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of like 90% sure they're going to be bringing a couple of bits and pieces down, and I'm waiting for total confirmation because they have to put it to the trust because
Okay,
there's a committee that they have to go through. But I've got a fairly good idea that there's going to be some very, very loud V12s coming down.
Really? Can you
Yeah.
give us a little hint of what you've asked for?
I've asked for the XJR9, okay, which is the Silk Cut Le Mans winning
Yep.
car. And I've also asked for the Tom Wilkinshaw touring car, XJS, which is
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's obviously all things that I love. So I've got a few other things up my sleeve, and it's not just going to be Jaguars. I've got some Ferraris. I've definitely got an AC Cobra, and I've definitely got some Mercedes. But all old school proper stuff. So, so we'll wait and see what we can come up with. But I'm going to have a nice selection of vehicles there for the sort of stuff that probably wouldn't necessarily ordinarily be at one of your sort of gigs.
Okay. Yeah.
And just put something different out there. So very much looking forward to that. Yeah, so
Fantastic.
that's been keeping me busy sorting all that out as well.
Yeah. And we're going to have internal conversations as well about where the Yeti needs to go. I know you're very keen to have it in the Goodwood Legends section.
of course. Yeah.
So there's a lot of deliberations going on at the moment because lots of people want that.
I was the only thing I was worried about if the sun comes out and I've got the Yeti, that it's going to blind me.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
that fluorescent orange on the bonnet
with
is
its
a
beauty.
lot. Yeah.
Don't worry, by then it will have rained so much all the paint would have fallen off.
That's true.
Yeah. I did a good job on that though, didn't I?
did.
Yeah.
I did watch the video. I love the fact that you haven't even bothered to key up the paint.
No.
I was
It's too expensive,
But
Tom.
Ty, couldn't you run out of sandpaper? Yeah, that was.
Well, I didn't
Just
run out. I just didn't buy it. I
any.
didn't buy it.
But looking at it now, Tom, did it need it?
No.
Well, there we go.
There you go.
Maybe
Okay.
painters have been doing it wrong this
Yeah.
whole time.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Just paint over the colour already. It's
I
fine.
don't know why I'm paying £15,000-20,000 to paint a classic car. I just need to come and see.
Yeah,
you.
we'll do it.
120 quid, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But all the panels will be a different colour and there will be overspray on every single colour, including the windscreen.
Excellent.
And the wheels
And
tyres.
And tyres, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I need to pick the right project, clearly.
Project A.
No, definitely not.
Right, Tom, most people know you for two things. The man who used to fix Land Rovers because you're a businessman now. And also the man who joins us for YouTube, Jay Pre, from time to time. But you're also a family man, a racing driver, motorbike rider. There's a lot more to you than meets the eye. So if it's all right with you, Tom, I'd like to wind the clock back a few decades and hear about Tom Lenthall's formative years.
Really?
So where you grew up, what you did in your youth, and the path that led you to where you are today. So let's wind it back a little bit, Tom. What did young Tom used to do? Were you a bit of a cheeky chappy getting in trouble?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, okay. Right. Young Tom. Young Tom was. I've always been a little bit sort of. I suppose cheeky is probably the right way of putting it. But when I was a kid, I was. My parents were landlords. And I was brought up in pubs and hotels and stuff like that. So,
What, in the Reading kind of area? Or where?
Yeah, so there you go. I was born in Southampton. And my parents had a pub called the Gatties there at the time. And then we went to Hartley. No, we went Richmond, Southampton, Hartley Whitney, which is where I was brought up. And then we moved away from Hartley Whitney. Oh, no, it was Oxford before that. Sorry. Then we went to Oxford.
So were you these classic live-in landlords at a pub,
Yeah.
like lived above the pub? And
So my dad worked for a company called Schooner Inns, which then became Burnings, which was basically a steakhouse.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
He started out, actually worked in London. He trained at the Savoy in London and then ended up managing steakhouses, right? So you get sent around all over the place. So we literally, by the time I was 9 years old, we'd moved like 8 times. It was ridiculous.
Wow. Bloody hell.
So my parents turned around and said, right, we are going to rent a pub. So you could back in those days, I don't know if it's still the same now, probably is, you'd rent the pub off of the brewery, right? So so it's a tenancy. Yeah. So they took on a tenancy in a pub in Hartley Whitney, which is called the Lamb in Hartley Whitney, or it's not there anymore. But so we moved there, and from the age of about 10 to 18, we lived there. Yeah. And so that's where I always consider myself brought up. But the problem was that by that time, I'd moved schools so much and I'd missed so much education, and I'm also quite badly dyslexic, by the time education wise I was done. I was in trouble.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So during those years of growing up, it was actually I had a lot of good friends, but I had quite a tough time because I was overweight as a kid because I lived in a pub and I ate too much. I was a little fat. Yeah, I was a little bit overweight. and at school I was always in all the bottom groups and that, so I took a bit of stick. Yeah. I didn't, I wasn't sort of like one of the popular kids, as it were. I was the one that was rubbish at sport, rubbish academically. The only thing I excelled in and did any good in was like electronics and metal work. And
did they have electronics back then?
No, he means abacuses.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So yeah, but I did take a lot of stick. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't, I did, take a,
So when you say you took a lot of stick, do you mean you were bullied?
Yeah.
You were bullied?
Yeah. I was a butt of the joke all the time and all that kind of stuff, So, which, on reflection now, when I think back to it, it does actually make you, I wouldn't recommend it, but what it did do for me personally, it made me, when I finally found the thing that I was good at and I loved, by the time I was like 13, 14, I was taking motorbikes apart. I think I got the first motorbike when I was 11 years old.
So you've always been quite mechanically minded then?
Yeah. I'll go upstairs and I think with Dad's toolbox, and we had a little garage at the Lamb, and I would, I think by the time I was 15 or 16, I had like 8 motorbikes in the shed.
Really?
Yeah. I was, I was taking them apart and I was painting them. And
were you riding these?
Oh, yeah. Tom can't disclose this information.
Yeah. No, this was 100 years ago. It's fine.
No, we were lucky. We had a forestry commission and a common up the road, and we were just, I'd work in the pub. My dad would make us, not make us, he would, we'd have to work in the pub for pocket money. Yeah. And I spent all of my pocket money on spares for the motorbike and fuel.
Amazing.
And then every weekend I was across the woods with my mates, Paul and Jim, and it was great. I loved it.
Amazing.
Yeah. So the only thing my mum bought for me was a crash helmet.
Good. Yeah.
She wasn't keen on me motorbikes. And by the time when I was 15, I thought, right, okay, I need a 50cc motorbike. So I bought what you call an FS1E, a Fizzy, and I bought and I had a scooter as well. And I remember my mum, I walk into the pub and my mum goes, if another local comes in here and tells me they've seen you riding that motorbike down the road, and I got my knuckles rapped by the police a few times, with the local copper, and all that sort of thing. But
why is that?
Just for riding on the road. Okay. Yeah, and when you shouldn't be.
Yeah.
On a motocross bike with no insurance and no MOT.
Nothing's changed, has it?
No.
There's still people doing that today.
So all of that mechanical stuff, and that was, was sort of like, that's all started from a really early age. But it's my parents and my brother and my sister not into cars at all, or motorbikes. Not
interesting.
So you were all self-taught then from all of that stuff? Or?
Yeah, I was self-taught up until the age of 16, and then I went to college and did a college course in motor vehicle repairs, and then you did a year's full-time with Sitting Guilds, years full-time, and then you had to go out and do work experience, and then hopefully the places you did work experience would offer you a job and you finish off your apprenticeship. That was how it was, right? So I've told you this before, I went to a BMW garage, cars, and this would have been 1989, so that would have been E30s, I suppose.
Yeah, E30s.
Yeah. And I was working, I always remember that because it was the one garage I worked in And the guys...
There was no work coming in because the cars were so
So
reliable.
reliable,
No,
yeah,
so you had to switch to another.
I'll tell you the interesting thing about that was you had a separate room where you had to go into to buy the stereo for your car. So the brand new BMWs didn't come with a radio.
What?
Okay.
Yeah, honestly, there was a side shop, which is an audio shop, and you'd go in there and you'd find and pick your radio.
Oh,
and,
fantastic.
And then the guys would install them in the workshop. But the thing that really made me laugh at that was, it's unbelievable now. We used to smoke in the workshop.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, when I was still working at Autocar. Well, no, this was slightly after.
Yeah,
but
but
like,
we're
in
talking
all the
with,
pubs
with
and-
brake cleaner and petrol and everything.
but you smoked everywhere. I remember being a kid and people smoking next to me in a restaurant.
I mean, planes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Smoking on
exactly, yeah.
planes. That's mad.
My parents both smoked, and when we were kids, we used to have to go to the back of the plane and get fogged out.
Really?
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Yeah. But anyway, so I did BMW, I did Ford, and I went back to my college lecturer and I said, oh, do you know what? I'm just, it's a bit boring. I want to do a little bit more. And he said, I know this bloke that restores old Jags.
Mm-hmm.
We'll stick you down with him for a couple of weeks, see how you get on. So I went down, and this chap called Brian Stevens, who's still a really good mate of mine, and I did work experience of him, and then I got a job as a Saturday boy. And unfortunately, it was at a period in time when there's a bit of recession going on, and he said, look, I can't give you a full-time job. So I was like, oh, damn, that's no good. So I was around one of my friend's house, and I'd picked up a little bit of knowledge on old cars by this point, and I said, oh, there's a body shell in this garage. I said, that's a Mark II Jag body shell. And he went, yeah, that belongs to my uncle. Oh, right, okay. He goes, he runs a restoration firm. I was like, really? Okay.
Ooh.
All right, fine. So I went off and spoke to my friend's mum, Blanche, and Blanche said to me, oh, well, I'll have a word with Roland, and I'll get you some work experience, no problem. So I thought, brilliant. It was only 10 miles down the road. I used to ride a motorbike there, and did a couple of weeks work experience, and then I asked him for a job, and I got the same response. And I was like, oh God, no one's hiring at the moment in this restoration business because there's not a lot of money about. So I went back to Blanche, or I was round at my mate John's house, and I said to Blanche, oh no, he said, unfortunately he's not hiring at the moment. And Blanche just looked at me and she goes, don't worry, leave it to me. as in Blanche's true. And then literally 2 days later, I got a phone call saying I got a job.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So, and then I stayed there for 8 years.
And what were you doing there?
There I was a mechanic. So I learned, you learn how to, we were taking cars and we were stripping them down to bare shells, rebuilding everything and putting them back. The only thing we used to farm out back at Roland's place was trim work, really. And maybe the odd gearbox and diff, but all the engines and axles, and did the welding. We were literally, we had a paint oven. We did everything.
Yeah, you learned your craft.
So you learn how to build cars.
Yeah.
And we also did race cars as well. So I learned how to build race cars. So I learned a lot of the racing stuff there as well.
And at this point, you're what, mid-20s?
When I left Roland's, I started there when I was 16.
Okay, a bit younger then, yeah.
Yeah, I was 16 when I started there. So I would have been
23 or so.
Yeah, 23, I think I was. Yeah. I
Okay.
took a 9-month sabbatical, and when I got qualified, and I went and lived in Australia for a bit because that was kind of what everyone was doing at the time.
Yeah.
So went and got drunk for 9 months.
How was Australia?
Yeah, it was all right.
And what did you do over there? Were you doing bar work and the usual?
No, I actually got a job in a garage in the end. I tried a couple other things, but
What couple things?
I tried.
He's got a big smile on his face.
yeah.
doesn't he? Yeah, there's a story here.
Stripper.
I got a job as a door-to-door salesman.
Did you?
Yeah.
What were you selling?
Can you imagine 23-year-old Tom in Australia?
No.
What,
I
mate?
was 20. I had my 21st birthday in Australia, right?
Oh, wow.
So I was going door to door selling promotional vouchers for businesses. So like, you buy this promo sheet and you get your next 10 pizzas at half price or next 5 cinema tickets. It was that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But what really used to happen was we were rubbish.
Yeah.
I wasn't very good at selling like that. And we just end up at the end of the day just getting really drunk.
Nice.
And,
Yeah.
Using the promotional vouchers that you're meant to be selling.
Again, nothing has changed.
Yeah. And so this was 1994, and I'm in Sydney, and there was a visit from Prince Charles.
Yeah. Okay.
Prince Charles had come over to Australia, and he was in, and I remember on a Sunday morning, I'm absolutely wasted. And I was skipping around at my mate's house, whatever, and I'm walking down the road thinking I'm going back.
Yeah.
And this motorcade comes past, and it's clearly Prince Charles, and there's just me stood there on the side of the street. Yeah.
Oh, what a sorry sight.
Yeah. With my Union Jack shorts on. hanging.
Can you imagine the conversation in the car?
Yeah.
That's one of ours.
So, but yeah, anyway, we did restoration for a bit, and then I went off and I wanted to learn something different. So I managed to get, I saw an advert, one of my mates saw an advert in the paper at the main dealer in Guildford, and I got the job.
Okay.
So I went and learned about modern cars.
Yeah.
And I did that from 1996 to end of 2007.
Okay.
And, did really quite well at that.
Yeah.
I was quite good at all the electrics and sussing stuff out and that. So became a master tech and...
So Tom, for people who are listening and young people, what is the best way to get into, like, if you want to get into being a mechanic now, like, do you still think that people should find like a classic car restoration, or do they even exist still, like that many of them?
Yeah, it's great. Due to like bumping into you, I get sent more CVs than ever, right? And there's a definite lack of skill set in my trade these days. Yeah. And a lot of people have stayed away from it because, really, to be perfectly honest, the wages aren't that great, right? But it's changed now. It has changed. It used to be everyone wants to go to IT because I can sit in a nice office. But if you are mechanically minded,
versus academically, more mechanically than academically.
Yeah. And and you've got a passion, a passion for cars. So I always turn around and say, I can teach anyone to fix a car. I can't teach them to be passionate about it.
Yeah.
So you've got to kind of have a love for it, certainly to be in my workshop. But you can, there's college courses you can do. You will not have a problem, I would say, in today's world, finding an apprenticeship because we haven't got enough good kids.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. So I always have an apprentice. You guys have been to the workshop. There's always, because if we don't pass on the skills that I've learned and the other guys in the workshop have learned, then we're done for, aren't we? Yeah. So you can get hold of the technical colleges.
Mm-hmm.
So there's all this stuff now where you kids have to stay in education till they're 18, and most of them are going off and doing A levels or whatever.
Yeah.
Or alternatively, you can do an apprenticeship. So the apprentices that we take on, they're 16 years old, so they're not having to go off and do A levels. What is the point in someone who's practically skilled, and not necessarily academic, going off and doing a maths and an English, A level?
Quite right.
It's pointless. I just don't. Why, I don't understand why we're pushing kids to do stuff where that's not their skill set.
Yep.
So
and
anyway,
what they're not passionate about either.
Yeah, they're not passionate about. Yeah. So all of the kids that come to me, when I sit down and I talk to them, I'm not really, I'm looking for the glimmer of light that says to me, I want to teach you how to do this. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you've got to want to do it. But now also the wages are getting a lot better. It's I know people that work in the IT trade and, like generally, if you're working in a, I don't know, a blooming call center or whatever, and you're answering, how to, download this or whatever it is. I guarantee you that the business that we're in will pay better money than that nowadays.
Okay.
So it's not the dead duck that it used to be.
Okay.
And it was a dead duck for a while. I have to confess.
Yeah.
Is that just because has the hourly rate for like an average mechanic, has that just gone up a lot higher?
Yeah, it has. Yeah. And it's put us in a situation where we can pay more. And, it's really underrated as well. It really frustrates me that if you're a really good carpenter, the tools that you use have got better and the theory hasn't changed for forever, has it really? But for us as mechanics, our product changes every year. The technology. So not only do I need to know about braking systems and tyres and exhausts and God knows what else and engines and now batteries, although that's a bit, I think that's a blip. But anyway, there you go. But we've also got to be electrical engineers and software engineers.
Yeah.
You're driving around in a vehicle now. So, like your XJ, as an example, has got, 50 or 60 control modules in it, which are all networked together. And you've got, I think it's 4 networks in your car. You'll have CAN, MOS, LIN. I don't know, it's got SCP in that one. But anyway, it doesn't matter. There's a lot technically going on. So your skill set that you need to be able to fix a car in its entirety is actually quite broad.
Yes, very.
It's not like it used to be. It's not like oh, I'm a spanner man and I change your brakes and I do your points and, but yeah, so there's a lot to it. So yeah, and I really encourage people to learn it because, like I say, I can teach you how to do it.
Yeah.
But I can't teach you to want to do it.
Okay. Before we continue, a quick show of love to this week's podcast sponsor, which is our very, very good friends, Febby Bilstein, with whom we are now officially partnered for 2025 to support our projects this year. And I'm sure you already know the Febby name already because their OE matching quality parts have helped keep countless cars on the channel alive, including Big P,
your Alpha,
my Alpha, the 156 GTA, Roger, that's up there. Also, our super high mileage KN, 250,000 mile KN, Sharon.
Yeah, I think Febby gave most of their catalogue for that car.
Yes, yeah, there is a reason that car is still going, and that's because of Febby. So we use Febby parts on a weekly basis and have installed their brakes, suspension components, have used their engine and gearbox service kits extensively, and I mean extensively. And I even have Febby's timing chain kit on my old BMW 530D, which brought that car back from the brink of death. So I'm super, super happy about that. You name it, we've done it, and we have always been super, super happy with Febby's quality. And what I love most about Febby is that they literally have everything for every car at a fraction of dealer prices, and their parts are widely available wherever you get your parts from. Febby also has a sister company called Blueprint that specializes in Asian cars, and just like with Febby, you get a 3-year warranty with everything that you buy. So do as we do and get your car parts from either Febby or Blueprint and make use of their simple online parts finder, which you know a bit more about, don't you?
Yeah, you can just put any make, model of your car in there and it'll tell you all the list of parts that Febby do for your car. It's surprising the amount they actually do for each vehicle.
Oh, yeah. Trust us, you will not be disappointed. The link for that is below. So again, to Febby, thanks for supporting us. We genuinely love you guys. Back to the podcast. Well, let's rewind it back to 2007. You're a master tech at Jaguar. Mm-hmm. And then what is the next step in Tom Lenthall's life?
The next step is Tom Lenthall is married. He's got 2 kids, a missus that has decided that she wants to be a stay-at-home mum, which I'm really glad that we've done that. And in a financial situation where every month when he gets his wages, he's about 500 or 600 quid a month behind. Every month.
Really?
Yeah, and thinking, well,
got to do something about this.
Need to do something about this, and at the time the money in the trade wasn't that great. So what do I do? So I thought, well, do you know what? I'm just going to give it a go. I'm going to go out on my own. And what's the worst thing that's going to happen? I'll have a little bit more debt than I'm cruising towards at the moment.
Yep.
And if all goes well, hopefully I'll be on the right side of it.
Okay.
It's the best thing I ever done for me personally.
And before we get onto that, what was Meg's opinion? Was she supportive? Was she nervous?
No, Meg was very supportive, actually. No, she was, and she's, when I say I started the business, me and Meg started the business because I can't emphasize enough, and you guys have seen it.
Oh God, yeah. You'd be lost without Meg.
Oh no, she is admin.
He'd forget how to breathe.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So Meg is as instrumental in the running of the business. As much as I am, 100%. Yeah. So she was very supportive, and we it was a joint decision. It was like, either you go back to work and we pay someone else to bring up our kids, and pay for childcare and all this sort of stuff, or we give this a go. So we were both invested in it.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So Tom Lenthall Limited becomes a thing in 2007.
It was more like 2008 really when I formed the company and all the rest of it, because I took a little bit of time out, how am I going to do this? And it takes a while to build things up. But by 2008, I think the company was formed. Yeah. We were trading properly. Yeah.
And what was that first year? What did that look like for you?
That first year was just really busy, and I was lucky that I was able to fill the garage up. I was working from home. I had a big garage at home, which I've still got. And and it was all right. It was just me by myself.
Yep.
And then Reese, who you guys know, was helping me on the weekends and the evenings because he was working as a mechanic for my old boss, Roland. And then by the time we got into 2009, we were so busy, Reese came to work for me full time.
Amazing.
So that this was still in your garage as well?
Yeah, at home, yeah.
And that took less than 2 years for you to be overwhelmed with work?
Yeah, I was overwhelmed.
Amazing.
Yeah. So, and then we managed to find a little workshop couple of miles up the road, and that was. I had this theory in my head that if you are going to run your own business, and you're going to be self-employed and you're working by yourself, what happens if I break my arm or my leg? I'm done, aren't I? Yeah. So I came up to the conclusion that I needed to not spend any money and save as much money as I could until I had 6 months worth of wages sat in the bank. And, whatever could happen to me if it was beyond 6 months, I'll probably be done anyway. So
he's not coming back from that.
I'm not. Whatever you've done, you've done too much. So, which I thought was a good sort of business strategy in my head. So I got 6 months' wages in the bank, and then this workshop came up, and I was like, oh God, it's a lot of money to spend, and and at the time I had 25 grand. Is what I had.
Yeah. And
so I went and saw the bloke, and I put the deposit down, and I kitted it all out. And this was at in the winter 2009, so it had been December time, and we got it all set up. So like literally January 2010, we're trading. Yeah. And then it snowed for 4 weeks, and no one could get to the workshop.
Oh shit!
And I had like no money in the bank. I'd spent everything.
So what cars were you working on at the time?
I was going to say,
because we're talking Land Rovers here, right?
When was the most genius decision that you ever made, Tom? And that was to put those words underneath your logo, which is Jaguar Land Rover Specialist.
Okay, so when we went to
just straight after it snowed.
Yeah, because it's the only thing we could fix. No, we went to when we were at Langley Common Road, we didn't have the head height. So we knew that, it went JLR in 2005, right? So in 2005, the technology of, i.e. I needed one set of software to fix a Jaguar, to fix a Land Rover. That happened in 2005, right? So by the time we got to 2010, we were like, actually, we've got the workshop now. We can do. I'd already been fixing Land Rovers anyway. We did it with work and, with the main dealer and stuff. So it wasn't like it was an alien thing to us. So, but we didn't really start doing that until when we went to the second workshop on the farm, which was 2015.
Okay.
So you were on a farm in 2000?
Yeah, so in 2010, we opened up at Langley Common Road. Yeah. We did 5 years there, and we were doing a few Land Rovers. We had body off jobs in there and stuff like that. So we were able to do it. There was one ramp we could use to do it, but it wasn't like a big thing. It was predominantly Jaguars, and we were doing an awful lot of tuning work at the time.
Oh, interesting. Yeah,
I was doing big supercharger conversions and trying to be clever and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. And then we took on the big workshop at the farm, Hogwood Farm, in 2015. And we went from a workshop that was, 2,000 square foot to 6,500 square foot.
Wow.
It was a big jump.
Yeah.
And we thought, well, we need to fill it up. So we really pushed hard on the Land Rovers at the time. And now we probably do more Land Rovers than we do Jaguars.
Oh,
it's weird, that.
Well, we don't make Jaguars anymore, Rory, so not really.
Well, no. It's just weird because they break down all the time, Tom. It was,
yeah. Well,
that's why it was the most genius move you've ever made.
That was just by chance. That was never a plan,
A garage that works on JLR will never not be busy.
Yeah.
But there's two reasons for that, I think. Mainly because...
Is one of the reasons the Ingenium?
No, forget the Ingenium. I hate that. I don't understand how a company can do something so bad. I don't know, it's not just Jaguar, Land Rover, BMW have had problems with their smaller diesel engines.
Yeah.
It's just it's just why? It's an industry thing, and it just drives me mad. But I think the two main, the key thing is with the cars are the biggest thing is that people love them.
Yeah.
And when the product's working, it's just, you always miss it.
Yeah.
It's very rare for me to sell a Jag or a Range Rover or a Land Rover that I've owned and not have some sort of seller's remorse afterwards.
Yeah.
It's only the fact that you're then moving on to another one. So.
I mean, you struggled to sell me that XJ for Rory, didn't you?
Yeah, it's a great car. I tried buying it back off him a couple of days. So I think it's the the product is brilliant.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So the L322, for example,
Yeah.
there should not be the amount that there are on the road. Like
This is true. Yeah,
financially,
true,
there
yeah.
should not be that many.
They're
on the
old
road.
cars as well,
They're
yeah.
old cars. They cost a lot to run and maintain.
Yep.
There should not be this many on the road.
No, you're right. Yeah, but what? So the reason there is them is because people like them.
Yeah, they love them. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're family members, aren't they?
Yeah. And I love the owners.
I bet you do. And so do your kids who have gone to university.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes when you're handing over a bill, Tom, does that love of their car sort of fade out of them?
Do you know what? It's really. Do you know what? Right? When I first started, and I'm thinking, oh my god, I was pretty skint at the time, to say the least. I'm thinking, where are they going to find £1,500 to pay this bill? where does someone find that kind of money to service a car and change a set of brake pipes or whatever? It's like, I couldn't, and I'd feel bad about handing the bill over,
And now Tom's hourly rate is £1,500.
Yeah. I think it's, but as you get older, you have a better understanding of it and all the rest of it. You don't worry. But yeah, I did used to, I remember once I was talking to a guy about his e-time. He goes, Tom, just tell me how much it is, for God's sake. I'm saying, and I've had to do this and I've had to do this. Just, because I know you've done all that. Just tell me how much it is. So you kind of, you get used to that after a while. Yeah.
So business is good now. How many people do you employ?
There's 12 of us, including me. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's quite a
And
few.
what does the future of Tom Lenthall look like?
Well, I don't really, it's ever changing. So
Are you personally going to slow down?
that's a good question, isn't it?
Oh,
I doubt it. It's not in me.
You're a grafter, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, again, I think that was an influence from my parents, because I was brought up in an environment where you work 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I mean, we were open on Christmas Day. So I was brought up with that.
Yeah.
You started early in the morning, you finished late at night. So it was just, and I've never really known any different. So we did do something this year where we've always worked Saturdays. And this year I finally turned around and I said, we're not going to open on Saturdays anymore because I want my weekends.
Nice. Oh, that's it. Close the business down. It's done.
Yeah. So
He's lost the passion, hasn't he?
Yeah. I've lost it. Yeah. But so, I am definitely going to continue doing what I'm doing. We're definitely going to continue fixing and maintaining and repairing modern cars.
Yeah.
And we're definitely going to continue doing the classic stuff, because that's where my passion is the old cars and messing around with them.
Yeah.
So
and enjoying the fruits of your labour as well. You got the Project 8, which is fantastic. You got your race car, you do racing, you do motorbikes as well.
Yeah. It's, if you've worked hard, so I actually think part of the reason why I actually get on with you guys, and is despite people probably don't realise it, you two work incredibly hard.
No, Rory's dad pays for everything.
Oh, no, that's true. That is true. Yeah.
That's not actually true. Rory's dad has nothing to do with the business.
Yeah.
Never has.
Yeah. I don't, people don't realise the hours that you guys put in to do what you do, and the weekends that you give up to do it. It's not this is not a 9-to-5 job that you're doing.
It's not, no.
And it's not a 9-to-5 job that I do. And, so... Yeah, but the thing is, the reason you do it and you put the hours is because you enjoy it.
Yeah, love it. This is literally our lives, isn't it?
Yeah.
Completely.
It's weekends, weekdays, evenings. Yeah. It's all the time.
Tom Lenthall Limited as a business is my life.
Yeah.
As a, and I was, even before the business started, I was always just working, if there was an opportunity to go out and fix another car and earn a couple of quid, I'd do it.
Yeah.
So it's just the way I am. So am I going to stop? Probably not. I've sort of said to myself, I want to get to a certain stage where I've got the choice to stop if I want.
What does a choice look like?
Is it
financial?
It's a financial choice, which I'm hoping to hit by the time I'm 60. I will have the choice of whether I want to work or not.
And you're 50 now?
I'm 51.
51.
Yeah. So I think that, but I think even by the time I get to 60, that I'll still.
He'll just double that financial figure, won't he?
Yeah. And,
he'll go to 200 million, won't it? Yeah.
But I am quite lucky that I've worked hard enough to put myself in a situation where, like I don't know, the other day you ring me up and say, oh, do you fancy coming up with a Project 8? And, I'll say to the boys, right, I'm not going to be here today. I'm going to go and do this. And, it's promotion. It's promotional work.
Oh, exactly. Without YouTube,
the
business
amount of
would be
times
nowhere.
where Tom's just like, I've just been invited down to Goodwood House by Lord so-and-so because he's going to go help needs some help with his Jaguar.
We're going horse racing, aren't we? I'm actually supposed to be at the Cheltenham Gold Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
with one
proper
of my-
posho, aren't
One
you?
of my customers, his horse is running.
Yeah.
So
Do you reckon all the posh people just like to have Tom round because he's a little bit rough?
No, it's just so
It's
they
just keep
he
him
can
grounded.
fix his car when they break down on the way there.
So, technical support. Anyway, yeah. Well, it's a JLR pod. It's going to break down. So
Oh, fantastic! Well, I'm really glad that we got a bit of insight into your life, Tom.
yeah. I've done a few things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You're very thick-skinned as well, aren't you? And you're a grafter.
Yeah, because I think that goes back to when I said when I was younger. I used to get a lot of take a lot of shit, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
And so it takes an awful lot to ruffle my feathers in that manner.
Trust us, we've tried.
Yeah,
we really have tried.
you
I tried in the XJS. He just looked cool and calm.
Oh,
no, he didn't.
I do think on your birthday weekend we did manage to ruffle him slightly though.
Oh yeah, what did
was
we do?
that?
I can't remember.
That was a so-and-so, a certain picture was taken in Alex's car,
Oh,
and then Alex retaliated.
can we talk about that?
Yeah. See, now, when you said to me earlier, right? Oh, Tom, your hair's sticking up. I thought, do you think I'm worried about my hair sticking up? Do you not remember that photo that we've done in this very room?
Okay,
only
so
couple
a
of
bit
months
of
ago?
context, right? In January, I turned 40 years.
Right, and if you put that photo out, I
Yeah.
will have a sense of humour failure.
Will you?
Yes.
Will I ruffle your feathers?
Yes.
Can we flash it up for
No,
one frame?
no.
Okay, we won't put it in. Will we, Rory?
No,
Yeah.
just blurred.
So yeah, basically, I turned 40 in January. We all went to Cornwall and had a really good weekend. And Tom's present to me was a cup. I like cups. I like drinking tea.
Mm-hmm.
On that cup is a picture of this middle-aged man, stark bollock naked, in my dream car, in my Porsche 993 911. And I looked at that and I was like, "That's a really good Photoshop." He was like, "It ain't a fucking Photoshop." And I had to look at it for about 10 minutes. I'm like, "Actually, that is a background in the unit. And you are stark bollock naked with your balls and your ass on my white leather,
Yeah.
and you're smiling at me."
Brown leather now, mate.
There's just a streak of
Which,
brown.
to be fair, I think he still might be the last person that sat in that car. Actually,
Yeah. Well, I gave it a bit of a sniff. I was like, no, I'll give it 2 more months. Yeah. So I have that in my kitchen at home. I actually made myself a cup of tea. I think 2 days ago. I was like, "Oh, this bloody cup!
and
It just tastes so sweet."
And
What?
then Alex retaliated on the weekend, but but with genius levels of retaliation.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, this is of my car.
Yeah. So you drove down in your lovely Range Rover, didn't you, with Meg?
I did take my Range Rover, yeah.
And I can't remember how we kind of set it up. Oh yeah, no,
So-
you could tell that. Yeah, this was.
So,
I left my keys somewhere like a fool, didn't I?
so Tom was laughing about this with the mug, and then he was, I think at the time as well when he handed it over, he said he's not dumb enough to leave his keys somewhere. And I happened on the evening to be walking past the kitchen counter that we were staying in, and whose keys were on the table? Mr. Tom Lenthall's.
Yeah. So those keys went missing for an entire evening.
They did.
And
yes.
then the next morning, on the Sunday morning, when you were cooking your bacon and eggs, I just moseyed on into the cottage, and I handed you your keys. And you're like, what's going on? Where were they? I was like, "Oh, nothing, Tom." And then we had a little conversation, didn't we? And you were like, "What the fuck have you done to my car?" And I was like, "Oh, nothing, Tom." And I literally just walked out.
Yeah. You gave me nothing, but left me with everything.
And for the whole day,
I was searching my car.
You were
looking for there's
clues,
some dog
yeah.
shit in here, or an old kipper, or
for the whole day, Tom was just like, look at me, like deadpan, and I'd look at him and then just walk away from him. He was like, "What have you done? Just tell me what you've done."
drove me mad, didn't it?
Yeah.
you did
It was
to
just
me, yeah.
occasionally me and Gareth and Alex would just be going, "God, it's amazing what four naked people in the car look like."
But the best part was, all I'd done was just taken the keys and just handed them to Tom.
Yeah.
I didn't even know where the car was, Tom.
It was enough.
It was enough.
It was enough.
Or
yeah.
was it?
Well, yeah. I don't know. If
We can
Because
now
now we're
reveal.
going to reveal.
It was like Rory going to me, "I can't believe you're that dumb to leave your keys." But I did. Yeah,
Yes,
there
you
you go.
did. Yeah, that
I
was a
did,
very
yeah.
good weekend. Anyway, it's time to now move on the podcast to Find of the Week. Do we have the theme tune?
Find of the week.
Week. What, are we going to put the theme tune in?
We can put a theme tune.
Okay, the theme tune is...
It's time for Find of the Week.
Wow, that's really not... We have a theme
good.
tune. He's just not programmed
Okay,
it.
right.
So Find of the Week, where you, the audience, give us a budget and category, and we will come armed with our car of choice and argue about whose is best. Now, if you remember last week, our category was convertible cars, and our budget was £2,000. Rory, you chose the MGB.
Midget. You cannot get an MGB.
I don't know. They're just all shit and old, aren't they? I chose the Alpha GTV convertible, and Taylor went with the TT 3.2 V6. And although Taylor did technically cheat because it was like £2,190.
I've looked.
Yeah.
In the podcast email,
Yeah.
everyone has agreed that because Taylor cheated, he was out.
Yeah, but everyone said that Taylor's car was the best, which it
was. Why did he cheat?
cheated because we had a
it's
budget
Taylor.
£2,000, and
Yeah.
this car was 2,190.
Oh,
So he's over
right,
budget,
okay, yeah.
which means then that I won.
No,
The GTV one.
There were a few people who shouted out the MG midget.
Yes,
as well.
a few. But we had about 100 or 200 emails, and most of those were either Audi TT. Look at your face. You know it's true.
I do know.
So
it's true.
GTV won. Fantastic. So this week's category and prize has been sent in by Nathan Wilson, who wants us to find a great first road legal track car for a budget of £3,000. You look very excited, Rory. Do you want to get us started? What have you found?
I think I've won this one.
Oh, here we
So
go.
I've gone for a Mini Cooper S R53 track car.
Are they the ones that blow up, Tom?
They are very boomy, yes.
Yeah, they are. Why have you done that?
Because when they work, they are amazing.
Okay.
And this one is an already converted track car. So unlike you guys, I imagine the options that you pick, yes, they may be good for just normal little runs. This is already a track car.
Okay, so for people listening, describe it.
So it is a blue R53 Cooper S.
Yeah.
It's got, as we can see, looks like some alloys on here.
Yeah.
That I think do look probably like lightweight alloys with some tyres. I can't tell the tyres yet. There is some racing damage on it.
Fantastic. Yeah,
But
patina.
the main point,
Ooh,
it's already
it's got a cage.
It's got a cage.
And
it's
it's
been
stripped.
stripped
Has it got a bucket
out,
seat, sir,
and it's got a
boy?
bucket seat
A
with a
single
racing
bucket
harness.
seat.
And then if I go on the description,
Yeah.
and this is now where it gets really good.
Yeah.
So it's had a new clutch in January, supercharger service in January, fully stripped interior, JP cage, half cage, bucket seat for the driver, TRS 5-point harness, drilled and grooved discs, pads
quite
all the way
good.
around, yellow stuff front pads, Yokohama Nivea tires all round. I don't know. I'm just going to go with that.
It's got tyres. Yeah.
Aftermarket exhaust, and it's had noise tests that it's passed on.
Yeah.
Front toe strap, 15% supercharger pulley, remapped to 200 horsepower, new radiator, cooling fan wired to a switch,
It's had
which
a
that
lot.
is a
Yeah.
problem on these.
Yeah.
Bonnet springs and coilovers.
Oh, okay.
So what about the larger intercooler to get those air intake temperatures down and stop it from going melty?
What's the price on that?
You can add that because you've got 500 quid left.
£2.5 grand.
Yeah, 2.5
Okay, that's
grand.
not too bad.
No, I think this is
That's
an
pretty
absolute
good value for
steal
money,
for
to
what
be
this
fair.
is. Yeah.
All right, that's very, very strong choice. And Tom, I've got loaded up on my phone actually your car because
Yeah.
I'm the only one who could do a screen recording apparently. So why don't you talk us through your motor vehicle of choice? What is it, Tom?
Okay, so this is, everyone's going to, it's a Mazda MX-5.
Oh.
So I actually own a Mazda MX-5 similar
Yeah.
to this. So it's the Mark II.
Yeah.
It's the 1800.
Oh.
Okay, and the engine on them, they rev.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah, you get them things on cam. They're lovely.
All right.
This one has also got track setup on it.
Oh yeah.
So he's got like the toe straps in
So
there.
it's a red Mark II with a black bonnet and a black boot.
Yeah, that's
because
right. Yeah,
race car.
it's got nice wheels on
Looks
it.
quite spicy, yeah.
Yeah, it is quite spicy. It hasn't quite got a full stripped out interior and
No.
stuff like that. It looks very nice and clean under the bonnet.
It's got a bit of silicon there.
Yeah, he's got a bit of silicon. He's got the air filters. He's got the alloy radiator.
Yeah.
And it's also got the cage in the back, I think, from memory.
Oh, like a rollover. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
it's got a
bar,
rollover bar in the
Well,
back.
let's have a little look at the, what's the description say? Seymour. Right, what we got here, Tom?
When you say Seymour,
Tom can't because he hasn't got his glasses.
Oh, do you want me to read it, Tom?
yeah, because I haven't got my
Okay.
glasses.
This is a 1999 Mazda MX-5 1800, like you said.
There you
Oh,
go.
listed 14 hours ago in Cheltenham.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not too far from me.
That is not too far, and it's listed for 2295.
It was at 2,250 quid, wasn't it?
2295.
All right, okay,
So
yeah,
you
so
got
look.
£705.
So therefore, I believe that this is a far, far better option than the. It's less likely to blow up than the
Yeah,
Mini
true.
for starters.
Very true.
I will
All right.
give you, this is the more reliable option.
Yeah, definitely the more
yeah.
reliable option. We know they're really good fun to drive. It's
Yeah.
got a lot of the track stuff already on
Would
it.
you want me to read the description, Tom?
Yeah, go on.
All right, selling my Mazda MX-5 1.8. Great little car, which I bought for some fun. Comes with coilovers and loads of other suspension parts underneath. 421 manifold to custom exhaust. Has a cat, which you need to take off. Limited slip differential, cold air intake, alloy uprated radiator, touchscreen stereo. Very important when you're on the racetrack.
Clearly.
Engine brace, half cage, and lots of other bits and bobs on it. Comes with a fresh 12-month MOT too. If you're interested, just drop me a massage. Thanks for viewing. Strong choice, Tom.
So
Strong
you've
choice.
also got a much larger budget to
Yeah.
spend on doing track days.
I'll give you that. That's a very, very good shout.
And he doesn't need to buy a radiator.
But round the track,
Mhm.
which one is winning? The R53 or the MX-5?
Which one are you having more
Well,
fun in, though?
Okay, that's a good question. So I've not actually driven my Mark II MX-5 around the track, but I have driven. What did you call your MX-5?
Lindsay.
Lindsay.
Yeah.
That's a Mark III.
But I know it's a Mark III. Yeah, but I'm also.
Don't get fresh with Tom, all right? He knows. He knows.
Well, I knew that.
I'm not sure you
got my
could
eye
see
on
without
you.
your glasses.
So I'm actually taking that to Donington tomorrow. We're doing.
Oh,
We're
exciting.
going to Donington tomorrow to test day. And we're using that as
Bit of a shakedown.
Yeah, a bit of a shakedown.
Nice.
Oh yeah, for those who don't know, one of Tom's customers actually bought Lindsay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they use it as like a track.
Yeah, it's a
Amazing car.
We're using it as a tutor car,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah. So my mate Nigel's got that, and we're going to go and do some tutoring with him tomorrow.
Fantastic.
So-
All right, so we've got a Mini that's
Yeah.
going to blow up.
No.
We got a Mazda that's very slow. And now I'm going to show you guys what I have bought. Not bought, what I would buy.
Go on then.
Budget is 3,000.
Yep.
I'm spending all of my £3,000 on a 2007 Mazda RX-8. What? Why are you laughing?
Because that's going to blow up as well.
Are you
No,
mental?
no, Tom, to be fair, it won't blow up. He'll just do one lap, he'll come into the pits, turn it off, and then he won't be able to start it again.
No, because it says in the advert, starts every time, no, in capital letters, cold/hot start that you would expect from a 44,000 mile car.
Is it only got 44,000?
Yes, description.
That's because no one dared drive them any further.
Let me just go through the description, all right? RX-8 Curo Coupe, driven, it says 42,000 miles, so maybe it's lost a bit of mileage. So it's 184 out of 500 ever made. Wankel rotary, 9,000 RPM redline, 50-50 weight distribution, 234 brake horsepower model, ULEZ exempt as well, very important for the racetrack. Full service history, starts every time, no cold hot start issues. Heated front seats, cream leather seats, blah, blah, blah. LSD, rear wheel drive, bodywork in perfect condition, no rust on arches. The only mod done to the car is a full manifold back 3-inch stainless exhaust with active valve sounds. Amazing. Yeah. So I think he's got a bit of a fruity exhaust on there, which is very nice. And 42,000 miles. I actually did a check on Car Vertical because this is an old car. It all checks out. However, the one thing that I will say about this is, and let me just, because I did write some notes down here, is so it's only done 2 owners, no damage, mileage checks out, but it's only done 7 miles since 2019
Do you know why that is?
because it broke.
It's because they haven't been able to start it.
Shut it. It says no cold or hot start issues. So if you do look at this, obviously it's not done many miles since
Well, I've got to be
2019.
honest.
Yeah.
How's it got hot? It hasn't been anywhere in the last 5
Yeah, how
6
did you know?
years.
It's only done 7 miles.
Yeah.
It's either that.
To be fair, he said no hot or cold start issues. He's
Or-
not started it, so it's fine. He
Do you know what
doesn't-
else that screams then?
Yeah, go on.
Mileage blocker.
Not on a 2007 RX-8, man.
It could be.
No.
It's either mileage blocker or it's not working.
No. What, the speedo? The odometer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The simple mileage blocker, just cut the cable.
Well, I think the reality is here that mine's the sensible choice.
But boring. Mine is the fun, fruity choice.
No, mine
And
is...
yours is the choice that's going to blow up.
No, it's not. Mine
It is.
Mine is the choice that's ready to go and do track days.
Yeah, for like 4 laps, like Tom said.
It is. All you need to do, you've got 500 quid left, stick the uprated intercooler on, you're not going to have an issue
You're going
then.
to have to buy an engine for 500 quid. On this occasion, with all the evidence in front of me, and you will have to agree or disagree, Tom, I'm going to have to give it to you.
I think on the
My RX-8 is fantastic, but I think this is more track ready. Rory, great car. It's just going to blow up.
It's not going to blow up.
It will. But we'll have to let them decide.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, 3 very good options, 2 very good options, and a mini. Let us know in the email address, which is podcast@autoilexcars.com. Nearly got that wrong, didn't I?
I think you still did.
.com. Yeah, .com. Right, next segment of the podcast is the news. And Rory, over to you.
The news is that fuel prices are coming down.
Oh, that's good news.
Yeah. So apparently the oil price per barrel of oil is going down.
Wow.
Which is meant to bring down the fuel prices by roughly 6p per litre.
Oh, that's quite good.
Yeah.
Is it though, Tom?
Well, why wouldn't it be good?
I've done the maths. I've run the numbers. It's not that good. Say you've got a 70-litre tank. You fill it.
Yeah.
You save £4.20 on an entire tank. Say you do 10,000 miles a year. That is a saving of £84 in a year.
And that's on how much MPG?
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying you get 500 miles. So
an average car, you're saying?
Well, this is more than average. I mean, 500 miles is quite good from a tank.
Okay.
But that's only a saving of £84. So 6p in isolation looks like a lot. In reality, it's not a lot.
You know, you can't knock it. Alex, it's better to save 85 quid or whatever it is than spend another £85, isn't it?
I don't want to save 6p, Tom. I want to save £1.
Well, why don't you get a battery car? Oh, you've got one.
Yeah.
It's not been great.
No. That also has no hot or cold start issues.
Yeah, it's because it doesn't start.
When's the last time we actually had that thing driving? It was what,
the
November?
road trip. Yeah, when we did the road trip up from Scotland.
October.
Yeah.
No.
So we've got a Tesla Model S that we
Yeah.
parked up in a car park where we have some spaces. And unfortunately, the main battery and the 12-volt battery has died in it, which means we can't get into it.
Yeah.
But don't worry, Tesla, in their infinite wisdom,
Yep.
came up with an emergency pull release.
Oh, fantastic. Let's do that.
You just pull that and it's
Yeah.
behind the bumper, then it opens up the front trunk and you
Okay,
can then
ideal.
jumpstart the 12-volt.
Let's do it.
Tom, do you want to guess what's happened here?
No, I don't. It's just, I wanted to tell you something else, but you finish what you're saying.
Okay.
You reminded me of something that happened this week, and it's brilliant.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
fantastic.
So me and Taylor went over there. We
Yeah.
pulled the cable, and the cable just came out
Ah.
in our hands.
Oh.
It wasn't attached to anything.
Could you not put it back?
No.
Oh.
No. So we did that, and then
Yeah.
it's just sort of there, and now we can't really move it or do
Yeah.
anything with it.
Okay. So
Without-
it's just sitting there.
Cutting a hole in it.
Yeah. Well, there will be a V2 video on that, trying to jumpstart a dead battery car.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tom, what was your story?
You'll like this.
Yeah.
So my mate James Wall
Yeah.
Yeah.
has got an XJ, the same
Yes.
as Rory's. He's
Yeah.
been on holiday, come back after 2 or 3 weeks because he gets a train and he doesn't use it that much these days. And the battery's gone flat.
Oh.
So I said to James, I said, don't worry, open up you can get in the door. I said, open up the bonnet,
Yeah.
power the car up under the bonnet via the fuse box and and you'll be able to open the boot.
Yeah.
Take the battery out
Yeah.
and then we'll charge it up.
Nice.
It might need a new one. We'll test it.
Easy.
Easy. So he powers up under the bonnet with his jump pack or whatever he's got, opens up the boot, disconnects the battery,
Yeah.
turns around, and then the boot lid shuts down on him.
Oh.
They're electric and they normally stay up. I don't know why it's fallen down.
No.
So now he can't make a circuit and he can't open the boot
Oh.
because the terminals aren't connected.
Oh
And
no.
we've got to now try and take the rear seat out.
Oh.
And there's like, it's typical American thing. There's what do they call it? A kidnap release.
Is it? I was going to say there's a ski hatch in the XJ, isn't there?
Yeah. Well, maybe I've got to go around to his house and have a look. But he's got himself into a right pickle.
Oh no. Poor James.
Poor James. Yes.
Does that mean he won't be able to get to the racetrack and I could take his place?
Yes, that's exactly.
I got to
Yeah,
do my
yeah,
arts
yeah,
this
yeah.
week.
Okay.
Right.
But yeah, batteries. When I mean, what are you going to do with a Tesla? Or just is it?
We're just going to throw it in the sea, Tom.
That's very environmentally friendly of you.
Well, no, we're going to take it out and then put it in a massive swimming pool of rice, and then hopefully it will fix
Yeah.
itself.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, but we are going to have a V2 episode where we try and revive that bloody thing, and then I'm selling it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yes, fuel prices are coming down.
That's good.
Yeah.
They're good.
Yeah, it's not as good as it sounds though. 84 quid. It's
Yeah.
like, come on, give us more, man. Anyway, there is more good news, is there not? Or is it good news?
About the Nürburgring.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So bikes and cars are no longer going to be sharing the track. So they had
Right.
Touristfahrten?
Yes.
Which is where everyone can go on the track and sort of use it as, well, it's not a track.
It's a public road.
It's a toll road.
Yeah.
And then people can go on it. But for safety reasons, and it is good news, they are now no longer having motorbikes and cars sharing the track at the same time.
Right.
Which is unbelievable that was a thing, really.
Yeah. So, a bit more depth of that story. So motorcycles will only be able to ride the 21-kilometer Nürburgring Nordschleife under the supervision of trained guides during training sessions and courses. And there are only four full-day sessions planned to be offered in 2025. So that means bikes and cars will not share the same section of tarmac ever again. Tom, good thing, bad thing?
I think it's a good thing. I don't think that, motorbikes and cars combined in the same, space, driving or riding at speed is a clever thing. I ride race bikes and do all that sort of stuff. And and I've also done, I've got a lot of friends that have done TTs and stuff like that. I think that closed road needs to either be motorbikes or cars. And I wouldn't personally ever do the Nürburgring on a motorbike myself. I've been to lots of racetracks. I've done lots of stuff like that. I just think that the price you pay for the mistake in certain areas on that circuit without a roll cage around you is too big a price.
Yeah, there's not enough runoff on a lot of the corners.
There's not enough runoff. There's barriers right there.
And,
and I did, back in the early 2000s, there was a guy that we used to go and do a lot of track days with, and he always used to go to the Nürburgring. And one weekend he didn't come back. So I'm all for having fun on the racetrack. And, I'm obviously a little bit, my risk taking is, not, probably more than a lot of people, but I don't think, Nürburgring on a motorbike is definitely not for me. So.
No.
I think it's not even just the motorbike itself, though, is it? It's, as we were discussing earlier, it's the actual, these people who are driving around you. Let's say you're on a motorbike. They aren't pro drivers. These are just normal, your average
This
Joe.
is you and me.
Yeah. Who could
in cars that probably aren't maintained particularly well.
Well, they're just anything and everything. At least when you go to a track day or something like that, a lot of the vehicles that are there are going to be well prepared. There is still the odd Wally that turns up in something that's completely knackered. But,
Tom was gesturing at Alex.
Yes. For everyone listening to this, a very large hammy hand was pointed at me.
So, but I just don't. I've been there on plenty of track days where people have made errors and mistakes, which have then cost other people dearly, i.e. they've crashed into them because you're an innocent bystander and you've been knocked off your motorbike or crashed into by another car when you've actually done nothing wrong yourself. So, you always have to accept that risk when you go onto a race circuit. And I think that the price, the risk at the Nürburgring because of the safety, for me personally, isn't worth it.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, I'm all for it as well. Yeah, bikes and cars should not mix, especially on the Nürburgring. I mean, what other racetrack in the world would you have bikes and cars?
It's just
I'm not saying that it's a racetrack, but people do use it as a racetrack.
I think the problem is there's motorbikes have an ability to be really quick in certain sections, but not so in others.
The speed differential is ridiculous. Like if you're driving, like we were saying, if you're on a Nürburgring, you are looking ahead. Yeah, and then if a motorbike comes up the inside of you, outbraking you, and then you've got more grip, and then you're faster through the corner, and there's just the bike will probably on a straight ultimately get away because their acceleration's amazing, but the biker's going to try harder through the corners where you're going to be able to match them a little bit more, and it's just when a bike's cranked over on its side and the guy's got his knee on the deck, and you're in your car, you can't see him.
No, not at all.
Yeah, if he's up the inside here.
You're 3 foot off the ground then, aren't you? Pretty much.
Yeah. He's virtually going to be below your door line.
It's like me standing up.
I know.
I got there before Tom.
It's like you sat in the Yeti.
Like me sat in the Yeti. Bloody hell. Yeah.
But it's just got high risk, unnecessary accident written all over it.
Yes, indeed. So good news then. Good news all
very
round.
good news.
The final section of this week's podcast is Question of the Week that was sent in by Thomas Gibson. And he says, and it's very fortuitous actually that you're here, Tom. Hi guys, I bought a Land Rover Discovery 4 less than a year ago. And then in the last few days, it started knocking and the crankshaft has gone. Could I get any engine swap ideas from you guys? Thomas. Actually, Rory, maybe you're a good one to start.
So we were actually looking at this because we have Big Pete. Big Pete, unfortunately, is having now engine issues. The one thing we have not got left.
You don't know yet.
Tom, it's going into limp mode repeatedly.
Also, Rory, you promised me everything was done. The engine would be fine.
Yeah,
Now
I
the
said
engine is not
everything
fine.
but the engine. So
Big Pete's done 192,000 miles now.
I know it is a lot of miles, isn't it?
He's done well, to be fair.
So I was looking, and
Done
there was
well for me.
It really has, yeah. So before you get into that,
Yeah.
what is the issue? Tom, maybe you can answer this. What is the issue with Disco 4s and their engines?
Okay, so there is definitely a crankshaft problem that has been highlighted over the years. And in fact, there was even a Jaguar Jaguar and Land Rover technical bulletin on 3-litre crankshafts having a problem and the shells spinning up. Yeah, so there was definitely a build issue, which then got sorted out later on. But yeah, there's an era of engines where crankshafts were definitely a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, so it wasn't the actual car. I'm sure it was the shells that was it. It was to do with an out of alignment oil feed. So,
Right,
and I
okay.
can't remember. I think it was the shells that were the oil feed hole was in the wrong place, and therefore it was starving the crankshaft of oil, and then it was locking up.
Okay.
From memory, I'd have to
Yeah.
look it up, but it was in that that sort of stuff.
Okay.
And also the crankshafts also had a habit of snapping,
Really?
literally physically snapping. So we were getting you turn it over by hand, and you think, well, actually, it's all right.
Yeah.
But there was only like 2 or 3 of the pistons moving.
And I take it 2 or 3 pistons cannot move a 3-ton motor vehicle.
No. So so there was definitely that bizarrely, might have been the extra load of the heavier vehicle. The problems were not isolated, but far more common in the Land Rover products than the Jaguar product.
So what engine was in the Jaguar?
Same engine.
Okay.
So
And was
3.
that what XJ?
so that's what's in my car.
That's
yeah.
what you got in your car, yeah.
Yeah.
You need
And
to
what's-
sell it.
Yeah.
Sell it. The
I'll
way
buy
you
it.
drive it, I've seen you. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Tom.
I said I'll buy it. I've already told him about it. How many miles has your car done now?
I think it's 152,000.
Yeah.
How many miles have you done in that?
I think I've now done bearing in mind I've only had it what it was December I got it off you, Tom? Last December?
year? Yeah, so what, a year and 3 months?
A
so.
year and 3 months. I've done 37,000 miles.
Was it on 117?
Yeah, well, yeah, it
pretty
was
good
like
going.
Yeah. It's high. Yeah, something like that.
Pretty
yeah.
good going.
It's not bad considering that is not even the car that I use every day as well.
No.
It's
Yeah.
not bad.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
And you did take it.
I did.
So, Rory, what's a good engine to put into a Disco 4 then? Because there is a company, isn't there?
So there is a company called MDRS. They are up north.
Oop Noof.
But they put in the TDV8s from Range Rovers, which is notoriously actually good engines.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they put them in Disco 3s and 4s.
Oh. So why wasn't that the case off the production line?
So I also then researched this as well to find out why. And it's apparently Jaguar and Land Rover, in their wisdom, they thought that by putting the TDV8 in a Discovery 4 or 3 would then take sales away from Range Rovers.
Yeah.
Which it probably would have done.
It would have done.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't have had all of these issues.
No,
would they?
no. And the thing that's really annoying is they had the engine. The TDV8 is actually a very, very good engine.
And very well suited to
thing is-
the Disco, isn't
Yeah.
it?
We always say it whenever we have this conversation about diesel Range Rovers and stuff. I always say, get the V8, get the V8. Don't get the V6, get the V8.
Yeah.
You know, it's because they don't. Yes, there are things that go wrong around the outside of them, but generally speaking, they don't go wrong. They're just good engines. So,
No,
yeah.
like the 4.4 that started all the way back in the L322.
Brilliant.
That went all the way. They've only stopped it in 2018, 2019 or something.
Meg has got last of line 4.4 V8. It's 2001. Her car.
2000?
21.
Sorry, 2021.
21.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
20. Yeah. So they over 12 years they've been
That's
putting that
amazing.
engine.
So
That
it was-
same engine.
That was the last year of the 405 LG.
Maybe I do need to buy a Range Rover.
And when hers, then they went to the new model. They didn't do the V8 anymore. So she wanted the last of the V8. So that's what she got.
Fair play. So yeah, go check out a company called MDRS. That is to Thomas Gibson or anyone else who's got a Disco 4.
I'm actually going to go and have a look myself.
Are you actually?
Well, I have actually got a Disco 4 sat in the yard, which I bought the other day.
Yeah.
With a 3-litre engine in it. It's done 150 odd thousand miles. It's blown up.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of debating what to do with it. And now that I didn't know this was a thing.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna.
We've taught Tom something.
Yeah. No, it's great. I am very, very tempted to see
Okay.
if they do a conversion kit.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I can get hold of an engine. I might have a go at it.
Oh, that would be very interesting. And then maybe we could put one in Big Pete as well once you've ironed out all.
Well, once I've been through the pain.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. All right then. I hope everyone's enjoyed listening to this podcast. Also listening to Tom's very illustrious career and story. Yeah, it's been good to get under the skin of Tom Lenthall. Please write in and give us a question of the week, and also find my car as well. Give us some more suggestions of that. The email is
podcast@autoalexcars.com.
And from us, thank you again for the support. We're loving being back doing the podcast, and we've got more special guests coming up. Next week, it'll be the three of us again with Taylor.
With Taylor, yeah.
And then after that, a special guest, which will be...
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah, still not done that one. But for now, thank you very much, Tom Lenthall, for joining us on the sofa. It's been a pleasure having you. And again, thank you very much for letting me drive your XJS. And I am going to do my odds, and we are going to race together.
I bet you any money you don't. You're going to say you're going to do it, but you won't do it.
No, can you imagine if I do my... Don't you dare! If I do my odds, and if my lap times are quicker than Tom's... Wow, we're gonna have
that's
to
what
have
happened with James Wool, wasn't it?
Is it really? Okay.
Yeah.
And then it'll be me and James, and you'll have to be. You'll be our mechanic.
The first race, he did 1,200 miles on the sim.
What? Wow.
The first race he done.
Oh my God.
1,200
I'm not going to do that.
I know you're not.
Do that. No. And with that, thank you very much for listening and watching. Whatever you do, do it to the best of your ability, and we will see you and hear you and listen and shout at you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
Keep waving, Tom.
Oh, sorry.
Bye.